Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Camel String coming at you with a video that I had been thinking about doing for a while, and since I got this particular item, and oops, I forgot to grab us something to stir with, so let me there we go. What I have is something that I might be considering adding to my preps, but I wanted to taste it first. This is something that I had never had before, and I saw it in a local Middle Eastern grocery store that is owned by a group of friends who run it as a joint business. And this is a single serve packet of what's called dromedary. See the camel. So this is actually powdered whole camel milk, and it has a few extra nutrients and percentages that a similar serving of whole cow's milk does not have. And it is either served warm or cold, and I am going to prepare it cold, simply because I like my milk cold, and I have even kept this packet in the fridge. So there's no tear notch, but I'll fix that real quick. I'll just cut the top of it off. This calls for, so it looks a little bit similar to normal milk powder, and it calls for 800 or 8 ounces of water, or I think the metric equivalent would be like 454 mils. So this is a measuring cup that came with my stick blender, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just gonna give this a stir. It'll take several it'll take a little while to stir this, but I'm just doing this live. I'm not going to stop this. It smells a little bit different than even powdered cow's milk. So it's maybe it would have been better to keep the powder at room temperature instead of chilling it. But I took the water straight out of my fridge. I keep several bottles of water in there. Some I will use, and some I simply keep there as part of my water storage. And also because some of them have actually, at the back of the fridge, some of them have frozen. They will stay like that because then if the power goes out, they help to keep my stuff in my fridge colder longer. Plus, I can move down some bottles that I keep in my freezer all the time. I think this is about as mixed up as I'm gonna get it. Maybe I should have used but well, I'm just going to go ahead and give it a taste. It tastes a little bit different, but it still tastes like milk. It just has a slightly, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it just does not have the same taste as cow's milk. It's not tart, really. It's not really pungent. It just has that very unique taste that I just can't find a word for. But I think next time I get this, I'm going to just keep the powder at room temperature before mixing it up, and see if that makes a difference. But the packet says it can be mixed cold or warm. Maybe I just needed to keep the powder at room temperature before mixing it. But as you can see, it looks just like regular cow's milk. I'll just add a little extra light from the back. I don't know if that helps any. Actually, I'll do this. I will pick so it's a little bit frothy from the mixing, and it's staying that way. And it has a higher fat content than whole cow's milk. Like 26% milk fat. Might be hard to see. I'm doing this in my kitchen. And lighting in here is 26% milk fat, which is higher than the cow's milk. And for people who rely on camel's milk for their calcium and mineral intake, and even for their fat intake, for if they live in the desert, especially the nomadic and more rural people in the Middle East and elsewhere where camels are a staple part of life. Having something like this, of course they get it straight out of the camel without hardly any processing. Whereas here, it's just more convenient to get it in powdered form. But it almost tastes like cottage cheese, but without the cheese flavor to me. You know what? I think I may get a box of it in the near future, transfer it into a Mylar bag, throw an oxygen absorber in it, and that should increase the shelf life of it. It's a lot more expensive than powdered cow's milk, which I do have a bag of it that I bought from Legacy Foods, and I showed that in a previous video. But I wanted to sample this, see what I think of it. And it also may be something that those who are intolerant of cow's milk, they might be able to drink this. If they cannot tolerate goat milk or sheep milk, camel milk, even if it's a powdered version, it may be something that would work for them. So just something I thought I'd share with you all. And cheers.